Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 2 of the AOR Classic Christmas Cup. And actually, I say round 2, this race at the time of recording may be rerun, it may not be, so I don't actually know whether this race will count towards the standings, but I'm going to show you these highlights from this evening's action, nonetheless ready for round 2 of the season. Obviously the first round with a reverse grid, so we are starting actually down in P12. All the guys that didn't make round 1 actually start right from the very back of the field because, you know, it's so they don't intentionally miss out the first race to try and get a nice easy victory for round 2. But here we are then at Belgium on the grid with the Williams FW18, Damon Hill's 1996 title winning car, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might be, although I may have just said that and now have been entirely wrong. But yeah, looking forward to this Grand Prix, not as confident as I was in the Mclaren and obviously having to try and carve my way through the field. But here we are then on the grid, it's 5 lights and it is going to be finally lights out and away we go. They're waiting an absolute age before those lights finally decided to go out, but make sure down in towards turn 1, you know, we did go off to a nice clean getaway, going to try and look around the outside of as many cars as we possibly can. Hopefully we still end up with some room on the outside there, and we've actually already made up one position off the start there. We got Mini Dude, who thought, you know, about trying to keep it side by side down in towards Eau Rouge, but luckily bailed out of that there. And now as we come through Eau Rouge there, everyone all over the shop just in front of me there. We kept it nicely between the track limits there. But you see KJ Gamer trying to look up the inside of Jamie183. He also got off to quite a good start there, so he might try to look down the inside. Yes, he does there. We're just going to try and bide our time, have a look right around the outside of Jamie on the exit of the corner there, and just about slip around the outside there, but he does try to hold it around the outside through the next corner, runs it ever so slightly wide into the gravel there, and we now move up into P10 there, and as you might have just seen in the background, Tierra Limitless actually running wide off into the grass. So there were a few connection issues in this evening's race, which is the only reason why it might get rerun, but it's looking quite close whether it will or whether it won't at this very moment in time. Because see, we're still all over the back of KJ Gamer here as we come down through Poo on for the first lap here, you know, almost pushing him through there, as he's bobbling around just a little bit on the connection, so we might have to be a little bit careful of that. Braking nice and early in towards the next couple of corners here as we now try to come down in towards the final sector of the lap, and everyone still ahead of me is trying to fight. We trying to look around the outside of KJ Gamer there. Thinking about going for the switchback move on the exit of the corner, but I don't think we're going to be able to make that work as of just yet. We can see there's already a bit of a train starting to form from about sort of P5, P6 in at this Grand Prix here as we're coming now up in towards Blanchemont for the first lap. Fluffy Pillow tries to have a look around the outside of Hicef, one that thinks better of it. Everyone runs wide through Blanchemont there, just not enough downforce, especially in the dirty air on the first lap of this Grand Prix. KJ Gamer thinks about looking for a move around the outside, and now we're just going to try and keep it nice and clean there. A little bit of contact with Mini Dude there, as I didn't expect him to try and send one up the inside on the exit of the bus stop there. But we've made up 2 positions on at lap 1 of this Grand Prix, and obviously the most important thing is that we have survived there, and that is obviously absolutely crucial for this championship there. But as we now come down through Eau Rouge once more here, KJ Gamer and Fluffy Pillow going side by side once again there. Who's going to budge? Fluffy Pillow just about in the end is able to budge out there, but we now have got a really good run on him. Going to try and look around the outside of the Kemmel straight here, a little bit of bobbling around from him as well there as we come down this long back straight here. Am I going to be later on at the brakes? Yes, I am. They try to swing it right around the outside of him there, squeeze him a bit over the curbs as well, you know, just make it clear that I'm going for this position and I'm not wanting to back down easily, you know, especially without a fight here. But up now into P9, KJ Gamer actually making a move on Hicef 1, as there was a little bit, you know, bumping and bashing just around ahead of him there, so he will be the next man on the old hit list here as we come through the first, you know, few corners of this track. Such a lovely flowing circuit, and especially on at the F1 2017 game where the curves are so much less aggressive than on recent games. This track is so nice to drive there, but everyone, you know, is trying to look for all the track space they possibly can. Heist has a look down the inside of KJ Gamer there. We're going to try and wing it right around the outside of Heist F1 there, but he just about shuts the door on the exit of the corner there. Holds on to P7 for now in this race, and as we come through in towards the final couple of corners, well, into the final sector of this lap, you can see Heist doesn't actually get a particularly good run on the exit of Savila there. Unfortunately, I get caught out behind him at exactly the wrong point for myself there, so not going to be able to make any sorts of moves just yet. And now KJ Gamer trying to look around the outside of Jack Hot. Well, they all get slowed down there. I nearly pushed Heist through the exit of Blanchemont here, but they're going to try and look right around the outside. He brakes much earlier than myself there, and we now move up into P7 of the Grand Prix. But it's not over just yet. Heist actually going to try and go for a bit of the switchback move there. He does get quite a good run out of the final corner, but he does leave me on the inside once more. Down in towards turn 1 there. KJ Gamer has looked up the inside of Jack Hopwood there. I nearly push him through turn 1 there, but Heist, fortunately for me, does back out behind him now. Jack Hopwood and KJ Gamer might go side by side. No, Jack does duck in behind him for the slipstream now as we come up through Eau Rouge for the 3rd time in this Grand Prix, and they both sort of really cost each other's runs there on the exit of the corner. We're going to try and have a look, see if we can potentially go for a bit of a cheeky double overtake there. We pull alongside Jack Hopwood, trying to look right around the outside of him in towards the braking zone there. He goes back up the inside of KJ Gamer, unfortunately forces them both wide there, so we'll pounce on one place. We think about going for the second there, but KJ Gamer just about shuts the door there. So unfortunately, you know, not able to make that move just yet. He's running massively deep through the hairpin corner here. I always forget the name of so many of the corners around this wonderful Belgium circuit here. But so far, you know, we've made up 6 positions in the first 3 laps of this Grand Prix. It's been a very good start for myself. I think Hayden and JD, you know, sort of my 2 main championship rivals, did not get off to such a good start there. You know, we would have seen JD off on the grass as well as Hayden. I think he just had a couple of other lag incidents here, so it was looking quite good for me. You know, obviously I lost out on quite a few points in the first round of the season, so hopefully I can try and make those back up there. But KJ Gamer just trying to defend from me as much as he possibly can. And out of Stavolo once more there. He loses the back end over the curbs there. We're going to be absolutely able to pounce on that opportunity. Get quite a nice little switchback move there. Luckily for me, actually, just get away with that in the green flag area of the circuit there. I think Heist F1 behind had unfortunately retired from the Grand Prix. But up now into P5 of the Grand Prix is obviously now, you know, the field starts to get that little bit more spread out, but we were all over the back of Shima Pesky here as we come down in towards the final few corners of lap 5 here, reaching the halfway point of this Grand Prix. He nudges the gravel, loses the back end over the curb there. I follow him there, but somehow able to keep my car facing in the right direction there. So up now into P4 of the Grand Prix, and we could be looking for our 2nd podium in a row in this series. You know, that would be, I'd be very happy with that result as we come down, breaking in towards the bus stop chicane for the 5th time in this Grand Prix. Next up was X-Jazza here. Actually did fairly well from what I remember in the first round of the season there. So he's, you know, one of the quicker guys in this series. But on to lap 6, he's a bit all over the shop at the moment here. So we're really going to pile on the pressure. You know, the opportunities are arising for myself. We're going to do a little bit of the cheeky dummy that I'm such a fan of doing to people. I don't know why, you know, it's sort of just let them know you're there. It almost puts some people off as well, so you can really force them into an unwanted error there. But I'm going to look right around the outside, actually in towards these double, you know, 90-degree corners there. Very flowing there, and somehow, out of all of that, you know, even caught me by surprise doing the commentary back. You know, didn't really expect to be able to make that move just as easily as I was able to there. And now we're up into the podium places of this Grand Prix, and unfortunately, after that, it did start to rain. Ignore the position count between now and the end. Unfortunately, there was as well a little bit of a glitch with our dash here, but break it down into the bus stop there, and I don't even know what that was in all honesty, but unfortunately, it decided to give me a 10-second time penalty before I'd even left the circuit there, so not really too sure what happened there. I wasn't really too worried about that because obviously it didn't, you know, I could easily get that removed after the Grand Prix, but realistically, unfortunately though, it did cost me a good shot at the Grand Prix victory. So see Senna and Devout actually just ahead of me here. You know, it cost me about 3 seconds, that little laggy incident there, so really, you know, if I'd been able to get past Senna, you know, on lap 10, I could have been, well, he's all over the back of Devout, so there's no reason I couldn't have been here. But you can see, by the end of the Grand Prix, the car's absolutely everywhere, all over the road here, trying to keep it in the right direction, you know. Spa, not the grippiest circuit in the world either here, but down in towards the final couple of corners, though, we have just about survived this Grand Prix, breaking nice and so early down in towards these final couple of corners, making sure, you know, that we don't make any stupid mistakes there. But through, out of the bus stop one final time there, TR Devout is going to be able to win the Grand Prix. Very well done to him, but we're going to come through for P3 from P12 on the grid there. Certainly very happy with that result in at the end. You can see JD down in P16 there and Hayden down in at P12. I think that might change by the end of the Grand Prix there, but yeah, certainly so happy with how that race went in the end for myself. Obviously a little bit unfortunate for all the other guys, you know, having their instance around, but for me, you know, I just kept it clean. That's one of the big aims in this season as well. You know, he wanted to try and keep it clean at, you know, every opportunity there. And although, obviously, you know, I certainly wasn't keeping it the calmest I could have been, you know, I was taking some risks. You know, they were all fairly calculated. Nothing was particularly stupid by any stretch of the imagination, or personally, I don't think there was in there, you know, no ridiculous dive bombs or anything like that there. But yeah, it certainly was a result, you know, I felt I deserved in the second round of the season there. But as I said, Devout 1 ahead of Senna there, myself in P3, Jazza 4th, Welty 5th, we had KJ Gamer actually down in P6, with Mini Dude 7th, Giant 8th, Fredster 9th, we also had, who is that? I can't actually read who that is, down in P11 there, Hayden in 12th, and AOR Charlie down in P13 there. But hopefully, you know, you guys have enjoyed this video. As I said, this may not count overall for the championship if it does get voted to restart, but hoping for my sake that it does not. But thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time for a brand new video.